Now, Effective Communication with Phil Zeller, CEO, Dale Carnegie, Southwest Michigan.
So there I was just the other day in Spain. Can you imagine that? There I am in Spain, and I'm looking up at this structure, this towering structure, towering above the city. It is huge. It is a huge basilica. And boy, did I get an education. Welcome to the show. Phil Zeller, Effective Communication. No matter where you go, I always share with people, education is going to take place. If you allow it, education will take place. And today we get an education. So there I was in Barcelona looking up at a basilica. Now, what is a basilica, you say? Well, you have churches, you have temples, you have they just keep going. They have cathedrals, then they have basilicas. So basilicas are like the granddaddy of them all. This is what I was educated on. So if I'm not perfect on this, this is okay. I'm cool with it. So for those of you to understand this and study this stuff, you're one step ahead of me. Yeah, awesome. So basilica, huge, the granddaddy of them all, the biggest ones out there of the places of worship, right? So we're here at the Sagrada Familia. Now, if I didn't pronounce that right, please forgive me, my Spanish friends. I'm still working on my Spanish. I got a long way to go with that. But I'm looking up at this beautiful basilica, and I'm just awestruck. I am completely awestruck. And to think that they started building this thing over 140 years ago, and they're still building it today. Oh my gosh, this is unbelievable. And as I'm looking at the structure and I'm looking at this huge basilica, I'm thinking to myself, who comes up with this? Who decides I am going to build something so massive, so huge, so ornate that it's going to be amazing? And so then you start talking and people are like, well, it's Antonio Gaudi. And I'm like, who's Gaudi? And so all of a sudden, boy, you go to Barcelona, you get an education real fast on who Gaudi was. Gaudi. And again, from pronouncing again, I apologize. But the bottom line is apparently this dude this guy had a vision, no doubt about it. He had a vision to make something absolutely beautiful to last the test of time. And I started thinking about this as I'm walking through this basilica and amazed by how beautiful it is and looking around. I mean, there's these columns are huge. Columns are huge, and everything is well thought out. And these columns hold this whole structure up, and the structure is just massive. I mean, it's above the city. It's like a skyscraper in the city. It's so big, this basilica, and it is so ornate. And I'm trying to figure out architecturally, this thing just must have been amazing to try to figure out the physics of it to make it all work with the space and the height and the weight of the materials. And then all of a sudden you go back in and you see some of the history of the building of it. And then you see a model of how this engineer, this architect, how he engineered this thing. And he did it with making his own model with sandbags upside down, tied on small little ropes like twine. And he laid this thing all down, upside down, to understand how it all functioned. And just that alone, thinking outside the box to do that. And for people who are in engineering, you do this all the time. But to see that history and see how they did it was absolutely amazing, and what went into it and the thought. But as I'm walking through this, folks, I'm thinking to myself, this is amazing and all the forethought. But yet there's probably some people walking through here are critics, right? There's some people walking through some of the most beautiful things in the world and saying, well, this isn't right. That could be better. They could have done this. They could have done that. Really? Have you noticed this in conversations with people? And all of a sudden, you're something like this, you're really excited about it because everything is new and you're taking it all in. And the last thing you want to hear is somebody complain about it, right? I don't like this. I don't like that. Really? Why are you here? I mean, look around. This is amazing. Somebody thought of this, and they've been working on this for 140 years. And all of a sudden you think to yourself, that person just isn't as happy as they could be in this moment. And you're thinking to yourself, they're criticizing, they're condemning and complaining. Dale Carnegie said, that's the one thing we don't need to do. So I'm going to challenge you folks, as I was there looking at this beautiful cathedral, think about the beauty in the world and think about what you're looking for. Because as you look at things, people are going to remember the things that you said that were really good and meaningful. Because remember, Theodore Roosevelt said it, no one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. So think about, what do you care about? What are you enjoying? What are you liking? And a way to communicate with people is to talk about the excitement of the cool things. Leave the negative stuff for somebody who actually wants to hear it, because it pretty much is nobody wants to hear the negative stuff. They want to hear what you're going to do to overcome the negative stuff and build beautiful things like this basilica. So my friends, my journeys continue around the world, and as I share with you, again, look around. There's beauty, there's amazement everywhere around you, and don't criticize, get them, and complain, because there's so many lovely things in the world. You'll have a happy attitude. Now go make it happen.